Yeah. So basically what I want to show you, and I can show you first and you can follow along, or I could walk you through it on your computer. What do you prefer?
No, you go ahead and show me, and
Okay.
that's better.
So it's going to turn out really small. I have a kind of a wide screen, but I'm going to
It's
share
okay.
my,
I've got a magnifying glass so I can see.
I'll make things larger too. I'm going to share my whole screen. So on the left-hand side, I have your PDF file that you sent me.
Yep.
I think I asked you this question, but you will need a full version of Acrobat when doing this process. So if you don't have one, you won't be able to extract the data using Adobe Acrobat Reader.
So I have that.
Okay, yeah. If you have the full version of Acrobat, then all you really need to do at this point is export this PDF. So sometimes you might not have this. You can actually even go to
so
file.
the issue, Justin, is this is a clean PDF because it came right from, it was generated. Sometimes we get scanned copies into PDFs. Those you cannot
You're right.
Yeah, so that's it.
Some versions of Acrobat, you'll be able to do what's called OCR.
Right, exactly.
So they'll do their best to try
Optical
to read
recognition.
it.
Yeah.
And then you can do the export. So right now,
Got it. Okay.
You're right. This is a very clean Excel file. Oh, I'm sorry, PDF. So I already did this once. It brought in the data pretty cleanly. So I'm gonna just save this for now into my download files. And I'll make this bigger. So I'm gonna, since we're gonna go over just one account.
Yep.
I'm just gonna delete everything here for now.
Sure.
Actually, let's do 2 accounts. So we just can see how you would do this for multiple accounts. So I'll do the first 2, get rid of them. The rest, I mean. So now we have basically the data. Okay, so you'll notice something here. This data is merged, and sometimes that will happen.
Yep.
Water surcharge, date, amount is all in one. There's kind of good news in our instance. We got a little lucky. The amount that we really need is here in this column.
Okay.
Well, I guess they don't like that. But there are ways, I think you mentioned you did it before. There are ways to, I'll just do this separately here, to separate this data.
Mm-hmm. So let me see some of the techniques that you would use just to give me some idea.
Yeah. So the first way, which is I think really the only way, is text to column. Yours might be under data actually. So under data, under the data tools, there's something called text to column.
Okay.
This is what you used, right?
Yep.
So we start with that. Oh, and then if you notice, these are merge cells. So first thing we got to do is unmerge it.
Unmerge it. Got it.
Typically this is on the home ribbon, so I'm going to unmerge that.
Perfect.
Here's the
now I understand. Yeah. Now it's all in the same thing. Got it.
Yeah. So here's the tricky part. We're going to be a little bit lucky here, I think, in that the spacing on this is pretty clean.
Right.
So when we do the text to column,
you use tab, right?
Yeah, you can use fixed width. I'll show you what happens with delimited, because I think there's going to be an issue with delimited. So if I click next here, when it's delimited, there's nothing here that tells Excel how to separate each column.
Mm-hmm.
They're all spaces. But even if I do space, oh, actually that kind of worked.
Well, except you got some bad data in some.
Yeah, like water space surcharge, right? So that's the issue. So I'm going to go back. So depending on your information, you're
Yep.
going to play around with delimited or fixed width. I think we got lucky here, and we'll be able to use fixed width.
Yeah, because it came from merged columns, so that's probably why we're able to do that.
You could kind of preview, but it looks like this is pretty good spacing that Excel already tried to do.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say this is, here we'll have some opportunities to kind of tell what kind of data this is. This is not going to be all messed up, but I'll still say this is a date. These next two columns is just general. For currency, you could just leave it as general.
Yeah.
And then finish. Cool. So it did get rid of the spaces in between, which is great.
Yep.
I could kind of tell because I'm going into the cell. And even got rid of like the spaces here, which is awesome.
Yep.
So we got lucky. Again,
Yep.
This is a clean file. We got lucky. This happens to work when it's clean. So that's what I would do when it's clean.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so we don't need to do this here. And the reason I say that is, again, we don't need this information.
We got the answer. All right.
We just need this.
Got it.
We need this. And I'm just going to pretend that this guy was late on this.
Well, oh, so we did delete the rest of it. So
Yeah.
it might be worth going through all 10 of them and show exactly what we need.
Sure. So I'm going to go close that up.
Yeah,
and
just
say-
close that and go back to the original.
Oh no, it's not what I wanted. It is.
Yeah, because that's a time saver if you only need the ones where you need the open balance. Because we had talked about before needing to import every transaction in, but that's just to facilitate comparisons, I guess.
So I'm only going to delete this data. The thing we have to be careful here is we do need the customer information.
Right.
So there will be some manual work, but if you have the data, and this is where the legacy information is going to be important. It's not too big, so we can do this quickly. Okay, we're done. All right. So I'm going to continue to delete information we don't need.
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to need this column. Let me delete little by little because sometimes I accidentally select the wrong cells. Oops, that one we want to keep. Like that. So delete it little by little. And really, we don't even need to delete this right now because I'll show you something else. What we really need to do is we need to make sure on the column we have this information, this customer information. So you can put it anywhere, but I'm going to put it on the left. I need to grab, unfortunately, this is not going to be clean. I'm going to try to grab it. I'm going to unmerge. Actually, I'm going to unmerge everything right now because it's going to cause me problems. I'm going to unmerge everything. Okay. Now we have some extra data, but I don't want to delete just yet. And I'm going to grab 2 pieces of data, or try to. Account number name. Don't do any sorting yet.
Right.
Then, I mean, there might be ways to do that text column. I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste.
Yep, sure.
And if you want, it'll take longer, but it is another data point to make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah,
It's
so we don't
browser
get
address.
confused.
Another thing that I want to do is unwrap all this text so it's easier for me to copy paste.
Yep.
I'm just going to put it here for now. And then I'll take care of the rest later. Just make sure the data is clean. Let me do this. Let me open up a new sheet. So I think this is going to be important. I know you said most of your clients are going to be relatively small.
Yes.
But still, anything we don't have to do manually is going to be good. So I'm going to copy that into here. Then grab all of it. Oh, because some of it already got. Oh, let me delete some more unnecessary data. I'll do that one more time. So I need this is clean, this is clean. Looks clean. I think because it's a PDF and when there's multiple pages,
Mm-hmm.
it repeats some of the data.
Yeah, yeah.
Need. Just like here. Okay, now I think the format. A little bit. Oh, I think from here. I don't know which way's faster. I'm going to do the same thing here. Text to column. It's good to see anyway. Fixed width, pretty clean. I don't need that row divided. Get rid of this line. I'm double clicking, by the way.
Okay.
Hey. And then what I'll do is I'll copy this address section. I'm doing Control H, which is replace, find replace.
Okay.
Just getting rid of the word address space. So now I can just go back here. Get that down cleanly. I'll go back and fix the rest. Copy that down cleanly. This is the next one is Margot Ray. Copy that. This is all the way down. For some reason. Oh, be careful there. 647. Address. All right, last one. This one is missing. That's weird. I'll have to find the name of this person. Might be
Yeah, that's it. That is it, actually.
Orsenia.
That's it. Oh, it's Senio Orsin. That's his
Oh,
name.
Orsenia.
Yeah, I think I've got it right here.
Hey,
Orsin, Orsinio. Or no, it's Orsinio Orsin. Can you believe that?
okay. All right, so we should make sure we have all the data aligned properly before we delete anything too.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is before I delete anything, I'm going to say this is the remaining. I must have. So I'm going to do this in my PDF. So we should have this 104, 154. So I'll just choose to put it all on column M. Next section is this 546. Make sure that this is here. Next is Saida. What? Proactive. Proactive. 546, 540. Proactive property investors. $546 should be 1. What happened to the data? Oh, here it is. There's more data in this little column here. Oh, and here's this data. Okay. It's going everywhere. All right, now got that. Saida. It's 546. It's this column here. I just want to make sure we're all in the right column. I'm going to highlight it.
Right.
This looks correct. I'm just going to double check. Yes. And then Margot Ray. So 246 was the first one. Yes. The 105. And then for 69, 573. Correct. Remaining balance is over here. Yeah, because of the multiple pages, it kind of gets a little screwy. But as far as the data is concerned, I have everything that I need now. So what I'm going to do is start sorting. I'm going to delete columns that I don't need, which is anything between here, because I'm going to sort. I'm going to keep the memo.
So I do have just kind of a question that just to see how it's going to tie into the July balance. Since this is August, should it now update and is it going to balance to the new?
No, it won't.
No.
So we'll need the July detail, but we can imagine that this is for August.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do now is I think you have to make sure you have column headers everywhere,
Mhm.
which I do. I'm going to freeze pane this. I'm going to select my whole table. Add a filter. Yours might be under data.
Right, data filter, yeah.
Filter. And I'm going to sort this for now smallest to largest. Or what you can do is filter, unselect all, because I want to get rid of the zeros and anything that's not a number.
Got it.
So right below this, this is just data that we don't need for our import. And if I refilter this, I now have the data that. So here, what this is telling me as of August, they have $5,654 outstanding.
Okay.
So let me just fix this while we're here anyway. 3621. And this is the part where how much data do you want to bring into the system? So right now we do have some data that we need, which is the date. I don't know what happened here, but must have got deleted. So that is something that we should probably bring in.
Right.
So I'm gonna just paste it here to the right because I'm gonna text column and I don't want to ruin the date information that we have.
Yep.
So I'll do the same thing, text to column. I think fix width will work.
Yep.
You can scroll down just to make sure. Main thing I want is the date.
Yep.
Next, I'm going to format this column as date.
Yep.
And finish. Cool. So I am going to replace. No, I won't replace it yet. I will create a new column just in case I need something there. Date. And I'll format this as date. This last page, for some reason, I couldn't pick up the dates. So this was 6/20, 7/1, 7/1, 7/30, 8/1, 8/1. Okay, so here's the key. I know we have the details here.
Yep.
I would recommend that we don't use the item that is on that's associated with it. And what I mean by that, you see here AR late fee, roof assessment.
It's going to be junk data for us.
Yeah, because what's going to happen if you code the invoice to a specific item, it's going to double book your revenue.
Got it.
So you want to make this as simple as possible. So I'm going to go back to your environment.
Yep.
There is a item that's already been created for you by NetSuite called opening balance.
Yep, I remember that. And it's a catch-all.
Yep. So we'll put in opening balance, or we could put, again, here's my internal ID 9. So I'm going to just attempt to do it with the item. Let's just see what happens. I'm just curious. Delete this junk data. I feel pretty comfortable with deleting this now. But now we have to do the most important part. We need to charge the correct customers.
Yep.
So what I would do at this point is create a new search or go to list, relationship, homeowners. So I'm going to show you both ways.
And we there is a way to sort the homeowners through class, right?
Yeah, and that's what the search is for, or we could do it here. And to do that, we edit this view. Again, you have to do this on your own.
Yep.
And on the available filters, because I did see the class there already.
Mhm.
I don't need stage. I'm going to replace this with HOA, which is your class.
Right.
Actually, let me just make sure that was the right field. There's no class here, right? Nope, no class. So it for sure is HOA, A, B, C, D, G, H, I. So it's before this. There we go, that one. And just make sure you have it in this show in filter region. You could turn that. So just turn that on. And again, these are kind of just my columns that I wanted. Okay, and you could see that I already had the column here, but now I could filter by it. We want Bermuda Palms only. And now it's only going to show Bermuda Palms.
Right.
The one thing that I mean, we don't have the data here. So it's not going to matter that I bring this in, but this is why this legacy customer ID
Right.
is going to come in hand. I don't want to filter by it. I'm sorry. I want to add it to my results. Because if we had the data in here, this is where when you import it, it's going to be easy.
To
We're
match.
going to export this to Excel. Get rid of columns I don't need. So I can make it bigger. And
Yeah, remind me how we got these names into the data.
we imported this as a file.
We did, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to just sort this by account name.
And that was another resident list that I had given you, right? I'd given you that resident.
Yeah,
list?
we did it together.
Yep, okay. I'll go back and review that.
Yeah. So I think the first name here got removed. I think this is supposed to be Melissa. But this one's actually missing an F in the name, I think.
Mhm.
But we could imagine that when we imported the data, if this information was here, Kathleen, I'm just going to add key it. Margot. Oh, I'm going to sort this by name as well. Arsenio. Proactive. I'll see a Saida. Maybe it's Mark. Oh, there it is. In Virginia. Now, if you had a long list here, what I would do is here, customer internal ID. Just do a quick, I don't know if you're familiar with VLOOKUP, but there's also something called an XLOOKUP.
You look up. So,
I'm going to use an X lookup.
okay. So both of them are looking up certain values,
Yep. So here I want to look up the legacy account number.
right?
And my legacy account number on the other file is here on E,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm going to put a comma. And what do I want to pick up? Well, I want to pick up the internal ID. And now I could copy that down. And I have my internal ID for all these customers.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So we have the date here. Not really a due date, but okay. So now the next question is, do you want to have the date, use the original dates? And that's what I would recommend, is using the original dates that's on this file.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to date it all for today?
Well, so if we use the original dates, we got to go in there and readjust each month. Is that how we're?
No.
Sure.
So what we have two kind of dating systems in NetSuite. This invoice date or transaction date, which is associated with the transaction.
Right.
But for your financial purposes, for income statement and balance sheet, there's something called a period. So what's going to happen is the period that this gets posted to, we can still say, oh, this is all for August, or we can make it July. And we will, in your balance sheets, is only going to show up in August. Actually, can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
So that's basically what we will do there is the date. It'll make more sense when I import this in, but I'll go ahead and import this in with the original date.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll do next is I will also, like I said, we need that the good old external ID. And I'm going to say this is Bermuda open AR. And I'm just going to call this row I2, because not really, date is not. I just basically want to give this a unique information on each row.
Yep.
So I'm gonna think we have everything we need. The things that we're gonna bring in are the date, the remaining. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the memo, so we know at least what it was for. You'll still see,
Right.
even though it's all coded to the same item, why what the invoice was for.
Sure. See the detail.
We're gonna bring item, customer ID, and external. The rest we can code directly on the import template.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and save this and then do a save as. Again, we want this as a CSV. I'll say Bermuda Palms opening AR as of 22/08/30. Okay. Now I'm going to go into your environment here.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to setup, import. I'm going to create an, oh, you know what? I forgot one thing that's important. You have negatives here. We cannot import negative invoices, but it's a good thing. So what we're going to do is, actually you have two options here. You can go ahead and apply this to the oldest invoice.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, this 246. I can say 155 and delete this payment. But what if they don't have enough invoices? Maybe they did a customer deposit, right?
Mhm.
We need to separate the negatives into a different file. So you could either sort it and then copy paste. I'll just go ahead and do this here and create a new sheet. Credits. Copy this information here. Oh, before I do that, undo. This is a formula over here. We can't have duplicates.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna make this static. I
Yep.
just did a
Yes.
copy paste special.
Yep.
Copy that. Or actually, I'm going to cut it to here. Oh, it grabbed everything. Undo. I guess I'll just copy then and delete it. And I'll delete this. Just those 3 rows. And now I have only positives in here.
Okay.
So I'm going to save this. And really what I should have shown you is putting this into a different file. This is actually not good to put this in the same file. But I'm going to do a save as. At the end, I'm going to say credit memo. All right. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to bring in the invoices or the positives. Ooh, I missed a big step here. Not a big step. You'll find out. If you remember what I said about this format, it has to be general.
Right. Okay.
I guess this is the CM file. This is why I should have done it in a separate file. So I'm going to make sure this is general. This is the CM file. So I'm going to save this. Go back here. I'm going to do a save as. And overwrite that invoice file. Yeah, I should have done it in separate files.
Mhm.
That's safer. All right, now I can say I'm bringing in invoices. I'm going to select the invoice file. It's the one without the CM. Add. Again, we don't need to really touch the advanced options. Homeowner, it doesn't know that the homeowner is my customer internal ID. I'm going to bring that in, activate this row and activate it. I'll make it a little bit. Press the pencil. And make sure that it's internal ID.
Mhm.
And actually, let me just make sure that way you can see it full screen here. External ID is fine.
Yep.
Memo's fine. Date is fine. Item is going to be name. I chose to use opening balance.
Mhm.
Open. Hopefully I spelled that right. And now I need to bring in some other information. We always want to have HOA on our file. So I'm going to bring in HOA. And in this purpose, posting period is going to be important.
Mhm.
And this is the other date I was referring to.
Yeah.
So HOA, the file that we're using is Bermuda Palms. So I'm going to do this double down arrow.
Mhm.
Select Bermuda Palms. By the way, when your list gets longer than this,
Mhm.
you could type in
Okay.
Bermuda
Got it.
and search, and then
Yep.
We'll bring it in. Posting period. So this is where, just for our kind of exercise, I'm going to put this in July.
Okay.
That way I can show you what happens to the balance sheet and what we need to do to fix it, because there's going to be a step we need to fix. So I'm going to put this into July. And again, remember, the invoice is the header. And you notice that there's multiple tables here.
Mhm.
So I need to go to items. Again, we have here the item is already mapped, but we haven't mapped the amount, the description, and that's really all we need. We could even do rate if we want, but amount is fine.
Mhm.
So that's the remaining amount. Description is this memo.
Mhm.
So this is the line memo.
Yeah.
And then that should be it. So now I'm going to go to next. And just for our purposes here, I'll delete, we can use it. Actually, do you want me to save this template, or because
Sure.
it's going to be different pretty much every time, but I will save it. Save and run. It always helps in the beginning when you're getting used to this import process to save these templates, because if you don't do it correctly and you get an error message, you could just use that template again and just fine tune it, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's good for figuring out where your mistakes are maybe too.
Yeah. But you also want to make sure that your saved templates are clean, because you don't have to have too many, because then it becomes hard to find.
Sure.
But in the beginning, and then you could go back and delete the ones that you don't need. So we only got 6 of 25. So that means we got some errors here.
Yep.
So let's see what happened. So I opened up the error file. Let me share the file. See what happened here. So we can expand these columns. I'll make it bigger. Oh, you know what?
Date range of your counting period.
Did I not map the posting period? I don't think I mapped the posting period. So I'm going to go back here. Yeah, I don't think I mapped the posting period.
Oh
wait, no, I did map the posting period.
Well, but wait a minute, but those transactions are in August, aren't they?
Yeah, but you have August. Let me take a, oh, I know what it is. Is there 22? No, they're all June. Let me open up that file, error file again. Let's see what it says. This look like. So it did all the July ones, but didn't like June, August. Oh, I wonder if you don't allow date period mismatches. Oh, I think we did turn that off, because let's see here. Let me take a look. Wait. Can't remember where that setting is. I believe it's in accounting preferences. Here's my accounting preferences. Mismatch. It's not here. It's not here. Maybe it is under enable features. Hyowon, he's calling you. There is a setting where we have to allow date period mismatches.
Mhm.
Let's see. NetSuite. Wow. Accounting preferences. It is accounting preferences. That's weird. How come I didn't see it? Let's take a look. How about we look for period instead? So many. Reversal, minimum window, allow transactions date outside of, oh yeah, we do have the disallow. It's this
Yep.
setting right here.
Got it.
So I would allow this.
But Warren?
You want Warren?
Well, no.
Yeah, I think
It's up to you.
I think just based on your business, when you're importing, this is going to be common practice.
Sure.
So you may want to allow. Yeah, I think when we set it up, I was only thinking of the transaction of entering. But I think for onboarding purposes, this is going to be something that is necessary.
Yep.
Or actually, let's try Warren.
And see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens with the import. Because if it doesn't impact the import process, I think we're good. But at the same time, when a user is entering information, maybe a good setting to have there. So this is why I like saving those imports. So I'm going to go back to save CSV imports. Here's my Bermuda Palms invoice import.
Yep.
Let's select. I'm just going to go ahead and select the error file. Oh, why did I get logged off? That's odd. No one else uses HOA. Oh, yes, there might be someone using HOA.
No, oh,
What?
developer.
Yeah, working on your print. I'm going to log out because temporarily I gave myself. Oh, wait, but I do need it because I didn't make it public. Hold on. Let me just let Ted know I'm working on it right now. It's most likely Ted. So what I'll do real quick. I'm going to go to that saved import. If you notice here on the save screen, on the access, you'll notice that it says private, so only I can see it.
Mhm.
I'm going to make this public. And there's a pop-up that showed up. I don't think you see it. I'm going to change that to public.
Okay.
And you'll notice now it's public. So I'm
Perfect.
going to get out so he can work on it because I gave myself access to your environment using my VHA login. And I'm going to go ahead and go to, wait, I'm in HOA now using my name. So I'm going to go back to saved CSV imports. I'm going to go ahead and go to Bermuda Palms. select that results file, which is the error file, because I don't want to include the things that did import properly.
Mhm.
Next. So I have everything in July. And run. Refresh. Zero. I guess it doesn't like the warn. So I am gonna have to turn that off because I think this is going to be a process that you will need.
Yep.
Okay, same thing. Go to my save CSV import. Bermuda Palms. Select. How are you on time?
So we should wrap up pretty close.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this quickly. This should
If
work.
we go 5 minutes over, we're fine.
Okay, it's working. The reason I know that, I think I remember I mentioned when it runs slow, that's a good sign.
Yep.
Because when I got in the first time, that last time, it went straight to basically completed or 0 to 19. There we go, 19 of 19.
Okay, wow, great.
So let's take a look at one of that invoices.
Yeah.
So since we don't have time, I'm not going to import the credit memo, but the process is exactly the same. But instead of transactions and then invoices, you do transactions and credit memos.
Okay.
So actually, I need the balance sheet. As of July. So if you notice here, I think something is, it brought in all these invoices. But let's take, for example, this June invoice that we imported. It has a June date as a transaction, but for financial purposes, it's hitting July. So when you run a balance sheet for June, this transaction is not going to show up.
Got it.
It's going to show up in July. The other thing that I want to make a note of is the GL impact. Because I didn't see it on. Oh, you know what we need to do? Is that was a default item from NetSuite. We need to update the mapping. So this should actually go to opening balance. Which it does not allow us to do. So we will go ahead and click new. I don't think this is the way that it should have been set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a correct opening balance GL that
Right.
gets coded to this account right here. This is where it should be coded.
Into the opening balance account. Yep.
Yep. So what's going to happen though, the sales is going to be opening balance, but you still have AR. So what you need to do in your last balance sheet import is zero out your AR. So going back to your AR.
Right. So then it picks up these balances.
Right. And where you're going to code the journal entry instead, which is this one. Just show you real quick. So what we should code it to, and you could do this on your final import. For anything that's AR, it should get coded to opening balance.
Perfect.
Because what's going to happen if you have this coded properly, all this trial balance import should equal the detail.
Right.
And these debits should equal the credits here. I know it says sales, but I'll create a new item where it gets mapped to this GL.
Great.
I'll save that for now. And then that'll reduce your AR. Now, if we look at July, it's at 6,000 because it reduced it by 5,033. And now you have your debit balance of 5,033.
Got it.
Right now, the offset is in sales, which I'll go ahead and make sure I create an item for you that's going to get into the equity.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, but that's it. Credit memo, you're going to do basically the same thing, except when you go into setup, you're going to choose transactions as always, and then import those negatives. That's credit memo.
Yep. Got it.
And one more thing, that file that we had, we should have made it a positive number.
No, wait, what's that now? So for the credit memos now, it should be positive?
Yes, I should have mentioned that earlier.
Okay, no problem.
Since credit memos are already negative, right?
Yep.
If we do negative, it's going to make a positive.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you want to change this negative. You could just do times -1, but I'll just go ahead and do this.
Oh, that's an easy way to do it. Yep.
Yeah. And these should be positive because credit memos are the negative. Great. But I think that's it for now.
Okay, so maybe I can try to import that credit memo because there's only three, so it should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, let me fix the item.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna deactivate that item and then bring in a new one that gets coded to equity. Okay,
perfect. So is there anything else outstanding you need from me or anything else that's open?
Yeah,
stuff.
There's a couple outstanding items for me. I don't think it's gonna delay the close. A developer is gonna get an estimate of how long it's gonna take to edit that shipping address to property address.
Okay, good.
But I think you could go live without that for now because
sure.
If you have no customer, it's not going to impact the day-to-day process. The next thing is Ted has on his plate. He's going to work on the final spacing of the printed invoice.
Perfect.